Well, hello out there again in Bills country. We got our second win of the year, and if the Bills win by more than 1 point, I'm happy. I was telling Nate earlier, if we go to the Super Bowl and win 3-2, I'll be ecstatic. It'll be the best game ever. But we had a great game against Cleveland. What do you think there, Nate?
Well, we did have a great game. I mean, it started off, we were on fire, and I thought we were just going to blow them out again like we did Kansas City last week, but Spiller went down with the shoulder, and
Yeah, but
almost so did our hopes.
Let's
I
talk
felt
about before Stiller went down with the shoulder. What do you have, like a 30-yard screen pass for a touchdown?
30-yard screen pass for a hard touchdown. He had 4 runs for 16, which is low for him. It was 4 yards per carry, but so that's what you want. And if the play where he got injured, they actually called it back for holding, but Fitzpatrick is scrambling. He's making he's making guys miss, and he dumps it off to him, and it would have been another 40-yard run, but they took it back, and we lost our best player. And almost, I feel like we could have lost the game in another situation.
Well, yeah, absolutely. He was playing lights out. You thought he was going to run all over him. The score was going to be 50-0, and we were running away with the game. And then all of a sudden, we get punched in the stomach. The guy gets injured. I mean, last 10 years, how many injuries the Bills have we had in all these games? We're getting killed by injuries. But I guess the injury today it's not so bad. There's a chance he'll play against New England, and they say there's a 75% chance that Jackson's going to be back. So our offensive line, boy, they're playing really well together right now.
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask you about this because I was actually listening to a little bit of the post-game show yesterday, and they were talking about, Kansas City stinks, Cleveland stinks, and one of the callers says, hey, when are you guys going to just say the Bills played a good game, they beat an NFL team, what's the matter? Why is it always the other team stinks? And then whoever the Shope and the Bulldog were talking about how, we're going to be talking about this all year. The teams aren't that great we're going to play. But besides maybe Jacksonville, every team is pretty good on the schedule. So I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea.
Well, we're playing an undefeated team that's right now. I know we're going to play. We're playing
Arizona.
the Texans and Arizona, two of the undefeated teams that are left.
And they look very good.
So, well, every year they say the same thing, and you don't have a choice who you play. You just play, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. It doesn't really matter if they're a great team or they're not a great team. At the end of the year, they look at your record, and you have so many wins.
Sure.
So this is a win that you have to have. You got to go down there. We're favored by 3 points. It's not like we were favored by 13 points.
No, we dominated the game. If you watch the game, we won the game hands down. I mean, there was really no point where I was really scared we were going to lose. I mean, it got a little bit close, but it felt like our lines were stronger. We were controlling the point of attack, as they say, and we dominated them. Dominated their run game. The only thing they really had going for them was the rookie running back, and we shut him right down, except for the one touchdown. And I was actually glad to hear Mario Williams in his post-game interview say that he was a little bit down on it because they allowed that run for the touchdown, which is good. You should never be happy with your performance in this
What
league.
did you see on that touchdown run? I saw Anderson not holding the corner and on the right side, and he goes into the middle of the line, number 93.
Sure.
He goes in the middle line when, even if he would have got through that middle of the line, he would have never been able to make the tackle. You got to hold your positions. You got to hold your lanes. And I keep saying, I'm not sure if this guy's an every down player. Belichick played him 40% of the snaps this year, and he got 12 sacks in 40% of the snaps.
Yeah, 10 or 12 sacks.
So I think you come in fresh. You put like Kelsey or somebody in there and split the time with him. Let him come in fresh and attack the quarterback in these things. And now he's not so tired and he doesn't have as many responsibilities. Maybe he should play a little bit less and he could be more effective for the plays that he's in there. Down by the goal line, he's a pass rusher. He put the big fat guys in.
Well, I think they are doing that because I see Kelsey playing a lot, even though we signed this guy for a bunch of dough. Kelsey's playing a lot. He's been looking good because I think he is good in a reserve role too. He's good at holding the point of attack. He's good at defending against the run. And if, like you were saying, everything got bottled up in the middle, the running back was shifty. He spun it around outside and he walked in. And that was pretty much what happened.
But we pretty much stopped that guy. He had a big game
yards.
last week.
Yeah.
And we pretty much I think he had one long run. It was like 10 yards. I don't think anything was over 10 yards. So we pretty much had a pretty good defensive
game. And the Bengals
game.
are a good team that he was good. The Cleveland took them to the wire. We beat Cleveland at home. When they're at home, I mean, any team is dangerous at home. And then Kansas City, you saw they flew down to New Orleans and they beat a team in New Orleans that's been competitive for years, even though maybe they're a little bit down because of the loss of their coach and whatnot. But it's still the NFL. It's still the top teams, and we're winning, and that's all that matters.
Hey, on the phone today, we have a special guest star from New York City. We got John from New York City. He was on the television last night watching the game. John, did you get a chance to see the game yesterday?
Yeah, hi, Ben. How are you? I love the show. It's my first call. Yeah, I saw the game. I was very happy with how the Bills played. I think overall they looked very good. My only concern was the penalties at the end of the first half in the last 2 minutes, and I thought that the Bills lost momentum. I would like to see them put more points on the board there. What do you think about the penalty situation, and how do you think the Bills can improve? I'm going to hang up and listen for the replay. Okay.
Well, John, I mean, let me ask you one thing before you hang up. I mean, the penalties are always an issue, and I always think when there's a lot of penalties, the first thing that comes to mind to me is that's bad coaching. You know, the coach should have this under control, especially the jumping off sides and the stuff like that. But I think the bottom line is you got to just play tough, hard-nosed football in the lines. The offensive line's got to run the ball, and the defensive line has got to stop the run. I mean, that's the key to winning any team. I don't care how good you are. You got to give your quarterback a chance to throw the ball. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, for me, I agree. I think it's important that they win the battle on the ground on both sides of the ball. What concerned me, though, was some of the interference calls from the secondary. I think that there was one play I remember where there was no way the Cleveland Brown receiver was anywhere near the ball, and the Bills got flagged because the Buffalo Bill defender pushed him. And I think that sort of play when they need to really be focused, to give up that type of yardage is a real detriment to the team.
Yeah, well, there was also a couple, like a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct in a really bad spot, and they put the ball past midfield and they actually started their drive on the 40-yard line because of it. And
that's right. That's what concerns me a little bit, is that undisciplined type of play.
Yeah, and with those replacement refs, that's going to lose you a game. If you watched the Sunday night game last night with Baltimore New England, I mean, you can't really say it's going to cost you the game, but it's certainly not going to make it any easier. You know, by the end of the game, everyone's going to have a bad call or two against them, and it matters if you make the play when it counts. But you know, that stuff's not going to help you in a young team like ours. Offsides, holding, unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, that's going to screw you. Now, maybe they got screwed a little bit too, but either way, keeping that to a minimum is key, for sure.
Absolutely. And I guess everyone's dealing with the bad referee, and so I don't know how much of the calls that go for you and against you are your fault or the referee's fault, but that's going to happen with the replacement refs or the regular refs. So you got to fight your way through it, and you got to win regardless and figure that out. But I know what your concern, John, is. Your concern is that if we're doing it to ourselves, dumb penalties, that's a sign of bigger problems underneath. You know, if they can't do the basic things, then they're probably missing on a lot of the other important stuff that we don't even realize what's happening.
Oh, I agree.
So, okay. All right, John, we appreciate you calling in, and hope you'll continue watching the show, and we're looking for more people to call in, and hopefully we'll have more guest stars as we go along.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, John. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, I was just listening on the way home to Stevie Johnson, and he was talking about the referees making these bad calls and against them and for them, and he's in the bottom line. He just said you got to play through it. You know, we're going to get some calls sometimes. They're going to get some calls. It gets frustrating while we're playing the game, and you feel like you got cheated or it shouldn't have worked out that way. But the bottom line is you have to maintain your cool. You got to maintain your composure, and that's what a lot of these bad penalties are: is a lack of composure. The crowd's real loud. You jump off sides. All of a sudden, I mean. Mario Williams makes a nice sack. It's his first sack of the year. He's all excited. The next play, we jump off sides and we give him the 5 yards. It was a 6-yard sack.
Yeah, so it didn't even matter.
It was like he didn't even sack him. We lost the sack, and that happened to what's his name? The other Williams, Kyle Williams, a couple times. And it's what Fred Smirlish used to be. He'd jump off a lot and everyone would give him a hard time.
Oh, that's right. Twice Williams was offsides.
Yeah,
yep.
but he needs to do that. I mean,
and Bruce Smith used to do it all the time too. Bruce Smith would have like a hair trigger. He'd be ready to go.
But that's why if he times those just right, he can get in there.
Oh, and he does.
And he does more than often than not. I really haven't seen much of that through Kyle's career. He did it twice yesterday in Cleveland, but we really haven't seen. But I think those those are the type of guys that they're trying to time that snap perfectly.
If to talk about Kyle Williams, he had a solid game again against a really good center. That Alex Mack is one of the top centers in the league, and I think just like what you're saying, now Kyle Williams seems to have more freedom because he knows he has Darius next to him. He's got Williams on the outside. Kelsey is a solid defensive end, if not a threat to rush the passer, and then also Anderson. So it allows Williams, instead of having to stay stout against the run, he can make some more moves, decisive moves to cut up into the field. And knowing that Darius is next to him, the linebackers are good. I mean, the linebackers I thought were going to be a weakness. They've been solid throughout.
Absolutely. They were talking about how they have to just fill those gaps. You got the 4 big linemen, the linebackers have to fill those gaps, and they're going to pick up a lot of tackles. And they really are showing that each one of them yesterday had a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. They talked about having an overall team. There's big plays by everybody. The other Williams, the cornerback, it looked like he got beat. If the guy made a perfect throw, he got him, but he recovered. He turned for the ball. Those are all positive things. I used to see our cornerbacks on a play like that not even turn their head and just tackle the guy and get a penalty. Mm-hmm. I always say, turn and look, because those if the ball's a perfect throw, God bless him. It's a perfect throw. He's going to get the touchdown. He's going to make it. If it's not a perfect throw, and usually it's not absolutely perfect, you might have a chance to make a reaction on the ball and make it. A lot of times, catch it yourself. And he came in. He made a nice knockdown. He broke up the long pass. It could have been a touchdown against us, but I like the hustle afterwards and the ability to turn and look for the ball and get his hand on it and knock it down. That was a really nice play. Jerry's Bird made some really nice plays. I made some notes that.
Oh, remember the pick, and then they called it back.
Oh yeah, they called it back.
Another one of those phantom calls. I felt like they're really doing a number of those refs. But he made a nice play on the ball, and even though it didn't count, it's still I still think that it takes a little bit out of the other team. I mean, you throw a pick like that, you might have gotten away with one, but man, you're not really doing a good thing if you're throwing it to the other team.
Absolutely, and that Bird, he just seems like he's got a nose for the ball. McKelvin had a nice interception, nice pick. He had a nice kickoff or punt return down the sidelines, tiptoed down the sideline.
He's definitely he's finding a niche on the team.
Yeah, he's making sure he's catching the ball. He dropped one in the end zone, but he knelt down. I think he knew he was going to kneel down it, but he's doing a really good job. He's got an interception. Yesterday, Scott hit a nice 33-yard interception.
He just got right in front of him. That's where I think his experience as a safety comes into play when he's covering those guys in the mid-range of the field, whether it be a tight end or a running back. Scott can jump in there. Real quick though, talking about that Aaron Williams, because we did notice on 2 occasions, 2 plays where if Brandon Weeden was Tom Brady, that's a touchdown. However, being a young cornerback as Williams and even Gilmore is. We were able to pull out the win. They're going to look at the tape. Maybe they're not going to make that same mistake twice. And now with the big game coming up, they're going to be able to be that much better. Make the mistake against the Browns, fix it for the Patriots.
Well, every game is a learning experience for these guys. They're young. We have a young offensive line. They're getting stronger and stronger as we go. I mean, they're so young. I love it. When we were in the Super Bowl years, that offensive line was together for 4 or 5 years. They could read each other's minds. This line has really only been together 2-3 games. I mean, they were together a few games last year. There was bits and pieces of it. Cordy Glenn's a rookie. Wood got hurt for most of his career. Levitre's played every different spot in the line. He's all over the place. Piers and Urbic are trying to get. They're just this line. I love it just to let them stay together for a long period of time. Cornerbacks, they're young. They're going to learn. Gilmore got burned pretty good on that long touchdown.
And it was actually kind of ugly because the guy made a little bit of a move, but again, he was giving him so much space that I mean, if we could have it right here, and maybe in the coming weeks we will. I mean, the guy makes a move like this. Gilmore moves up here. There's an 8-yard cushion. So the guy could have done a little pirouette. He could have done a dance right there. It doesn't matter what move he did. He was already open. He made a shifty move to the left, got the pass, and ran right in. And Gilmore was just too far away. And I think he's got to be a little bit tighter. And, again, I think he will in time. And there was a stat I saw that cornerback tandem of Williams and Gilmore are actually one of the tops in the league in press coverage. Press coverage 61 and 64% of the time, respectively, which was a surprise to see. A surprise to read, considering all the talk amongst Bills fans about.
Well, but they didn't
cushion.
do it in the Jets game. They didn't do anything in the Jets game. So it was just these two last games. So they really
lose the division game.
They changed their mind. I mean, I know what Chan Gailey was thinking in the first game. He really got me a little nervous, but they bounced back. They've got a lot of confidence in their coach. I heard Stevie Johnson again on GR today and said, they're really happy with how the coach set them up to be in the right positions. And they had TJ Graham, the same thing. What do you think about him? He gets his first touchdown.
Well, he's got to learn how to celebrate it a little bit better. I don't know about that dance.
It's his first one.
But it was nice to see him go across the middle and catch a pass. I mean, it seems that's Buffalo's MO. If we're within the 10-yard line, we're going to throw a pass in the middle, and whether it's Chandler, Johnson, or whoever, whether it be Graham or not, we're going to catch a pass in the middle, and it's going to be a touchdown. Fitzpatrick's doing it all year. I think he leads the league in touchdowns, surprisingly.
Yeah, he's leading the league in touchdowns. He's on a pace for throwing like 40 touchdowns if he keeps this pace. God bless him if he does. But there was like a pick play, and I guess two of the Cleveland Browns picked each other and just let Graham go wide open. I don't know. I thought it was a little bit high of a throw. He made a nice catch. It wasn't like a circus catch or anything, but he was wide open. Nobody was near him. And then Stevie Johnson's touchdown was a 9-yard pass too.
This is another thing, though. See how Graham scored this touchdown? He didn't dress that first game, and I know you have said it before about the coaches. If they're making this mistake, can we have the full confidence in them to not make other mistakes that might even be more important?
Well, I guess he's, I don't know if he's a great coach. If he will ever know. If he had Tom Brady as his quarterback, people would think of him as Bill Belichick. I mean, Bill Belichick looked like a buffoon running off the field last night, chasing after the ref and grabbing the referee by the arm. But he's good at certain things, and I think he's good at this short West Coast type. Gailey, this West Coast type of offense. I mean, we had I guess it was the first time we didn't score when we were in the red zone. We were right on the 20-yard line.
And he slipped the ball.
They called it a sack. But I still don't understand. How do you put your arm back and go forward?
And the ball went forward.
The ball goes forward. It's impossible for it to go forward unless your arm has the ball and is going forward for some period of time.
Yeah, at least a little bit.
A little, because it went like 4
yards forward. And it was a spin, so it definitely spun.
So even though when he came forward it was empty, he must have had it at least for a little bit forward to make it go forward. So to me, it's just not logical that he didn't go forward at all with it.
Yeah, because even though it looked like one of those plays where his arm is knocked down and it just goes down, the ball spun, went forward. It went forward a foot, but it went forward.
So he must have had some forward momentum going on that. So it shouldn't have been a fumble. And that's a big play because they came down and scored and they tightened up the game. If we get a touchdown on that drive,
just like that pick,
it just gets the momentum. And that's how games are, though. You get punched in the gut and things like that happen to you. You have to recover, and they did that this game. They recovered, and that's Fitzpatrick on his radio. Well, on his radio show he has the 9 o'clock show every Monday after the Bills games. He was on like for 10 minutes this morning, and maybe we can put a cut of him in here with what he said. But he goes, we basically at this time are learning how to win, and this is a good step in that direction. We had a long streak. We hadn't won a road game, and the team really came together as a team.
All right, well, let's have a listen then.
It was great the way our defense played and kept fighting and kept battling, and then for us to have that drive with the last touchdown, that showed a lot about our football team. I think in the end our response was what it needed to be, and I think we grew as a football team yesterday. But I think the thing that's been very encouraging, especially this last game, is it was a great team win in terms of, again, the offense and the defense kind of feeding off of each other and helping each other out and making the big plays and the big stops and the big touchdowns when we needed to. The thing that Chan does best is he's able to work with what he has and, find a way to be effective. And so I thought Tashard did an excellent job, and even Johnny White, both those guys coming in and doing what they did. Tashard getting a lot of carries and running the ball hard. That was great to see. But that's what it is. It's I don't know if we'll have Fred this week or not, but next guy up, and we've got to find different ways to move the ball and spread the ball around a little bit more.
Well, I think those are all solid points. The team has to recover from adversity, and again, against the Browns, you have a chance to learn. Against the Patriots, against the Jets, against a tough team, you're not going to have. They're going to step on your throat, and they're going to take it away from you. So I feel like this is a good game, more confidence building for the young team, and for a quarterback who needs to be on a hot streak. He's streaky, as they say. So.
Well, again, he's very streaky. He's good with these short 10-yard passes, and that's maybe why we're so good in the red zone, because there's not that much room. He doesn't have to throw it long. Stevie made a phenomenal move. He faked one way. He just faked the jack off of the
for the touchdown.
For the touchdown pass, he just made a great move, and he had a great game. He had a bunch of catches.
Yeah, not a lot of yards. We don't throw it very deep.
Nothing was deep. What was the longest throw he threw?
I think his arms broke.
What do you think? How far do you think he can throw the ball? Can he throw it more than 20 yards on the field?
I don't know. All I know is that if you saw a clip of the Cincinnati game, their rookie wide receiver out of Rutgers threw like a 60-yard bomb that looked perfect through the air. And
they wrote that little line on it?
Yeah, you see the line, which I actually do kind of like. It's like a golf highlight. But yeah, but you know what? Hey, maybe Gailey's a genius, and he's just saving it for the big game. I don't know what he's saving it for.
Well, yeah, we have this T.J. Graham. The only reason we drafted him was his extreme speed that he was going to throw one long.
I guess.
So we play. Who do we play next week? Play the New England Patriots next week, and he's got to put the pressure on Brady. It's our new package, and we just got to really come together as a defensive line. It'll be a home game. I don't know how the weather is. I was telling my wife, I think summer's over. It's been kind of chilly here in Buffalo. It's been the 50s. It's 50s.
It's supposed to be 70s this week.
So it's going to be 70s this week. So it's going to be beautiful football weather. It's going to be you have to get to Brady to win. They were saying on the radio today they thought the Bills need to score 30 points to win this game. Can we score 30 points without turning the ball over?
We can score 30 points. We like to turn the ball over. We like to do it. So that's probably, we will turn the ball over. I would expect at least one turnover if we can still win. If it's any more than two, I feel like we've lost the game.
Well, yeah, if we turn it over and we don't get a turnover from Brady, we're
right.
in
Yeah,
trouble.
If we keep it even, but if it's a -2 on the differential, we've lost the game. I watched the game last night because I need, it was a great game for one, Patriots and the Ravens, but also because Patriots are coming to town. I got to see what's going on. Now they've lost 2 in a row, which rarely happens. And
it's the first time that they have a losing record in
148 games or something.
The last
like that.
time when they were 0-1 when they lost 2.
Oh, the Bills.
31-0. I was at that game. And
should have never watched the rest of the year.
But yeah, and I don't think the last time they lost 3 in a row is a long time.
Well, that's the problem. That's the thing I think about. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be hard to win 3, have them lose 3 in a row. But then again, they played a tough. The Ravens are a team. They're punching you in the mouth. It's a hard game. They probably put it all on the line, and I know maybe they'll look past Buffalo. I don't know. But the thing is, they're not gonna be. Belichick's mad about the refs. They don't lose 3 in a row or 2 in a row, let alone 3. So they're going to be coming for us. We've got to be ready. And maybe it's a good thing we're at home. If we would have been going there, I don't know. We probably would have packed it in. And unfortunately, I feel like that as a fan. Unfortunately, I feel like
we beat them here last year. Maybe we could have 2 in a row. I know we went down there in New England. We were up 21-0, and then we got blown out of that game. Imagine we had 21 quick points against them. We were killing them, and then we'd end up losing the game down in New England. So we have to avoid the turnovers. You got to get to Brady, get in his face, and we have a good chance of being 3-1. I hope next week when we start our show we're 3-1 and we have something really nice to talk about.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, we're not really much for predictions here, so we'll just wait for next week and go Bills.
Okay, one more thing. We talked about not rooting for Miami Dolphins, but they're lining up for that field goal at the end of the game, and I'm like, Nate said to root for the Jets. I can't do it. I'm hoping he misses the field goal because the Miami had the field goal early,
right?
And he missed it. He could have won the game. I think it was a 48-yarder. And now they got the ball and they marched all the way down. And the Dolphins coach calls a timeout. Is that beautiful or what?
Well, yeah, and then they ended up blocking the.
They blocked the one, so
and they would have won.
Yeah, they would have won it. It would have been tight, so they would have gotten the ball back. The game wouldn't have been over there, so they wouldn't have won the game. But that was. It's nice to watch Miami lose, but I like.
Well, they say that they might have called the timeout before, and the line might have relaxed. So then they were able to block it. But either way, Miami did lose, and I'm sort of I would rather have them, but they lost. They lost Reggie Bush for a good period of time. Jets have lost Rivas. So even though it's going to be all the way to week 17,
Yeah, and
we're still going to be.
New England's lost their tight end and
Well, hey, we need
so-
some good. Well, we've
we
lost.
lost Spiller and
Well, we might
Jackson,
not have.
right?
We could still not have both of them. I mean, chances are, I think we're going to have Jackson. I got a good feeling. But Choise came through too, and we didn't really talk about that.
Yeah, that's
so.
right. 91 yards for Choise. The offensive line, and I'm not taking anything away from Choise. He runs hard. He runs straight to the hole. He's not Spiller. He doesn't have that extreme breakaway ability.
Yeah, but he was getting 10
But
yards.
he's got 91 yards. I'll take that all day long if he gets 91 yards a game.
Sure, and if
while
it's
he's
the
out.
W,
Yeah.
that helps
And
too.
that's
So,
it. So okay,
but okay, yep, go Bills next week. New England, we'll see you there.
go Sabres.